How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Arias, an entrepreneur joining from United States, from Dallas. So Arias, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
I would say that it's important to make sure that you have a good product or service that solves a specific problem. There's a lot of people out there who say that they know how to do something. They say that they're good or that they're going to perform, and at the end of the day, they don't. And sometimes they do it, and they're just kind of scammers. I think most people, they over promise and under deliver. So I think the first thing that you absolutely have to have down is making sure that you have figured out what your product and service is, what problem you solve, and make sure that you can actually solve that problem and you can do it, consistently. You still
And
there?
step number 2?
Step number 2, it's about scalability, right? So you need to be able to create a scalable system. So when I talk about scalable, you need to be able to use some automation. You need to be able to leverage technology, and you need to be able to delegate some things in your business, right? You need to figure out, what are those repetitive tasks that need to be done and who's going to do them to make sure that you can fulfill your brand promise, right? Getting those things in place, the technology, automation, the people to delegate things to, makes your business scalable and allows you to put some systems in place. The third thing is profit margins. And this is, it's boring, but it's essential, right? So you need to figure out, I had a mentor made over $300 million, right? And he told me, Arias, you don't make your money in business when you sell, you make your money in business when you buy, right? So no matter what it is that you do, whether you sell, physical products, if you sell digital products, or if you are a service-based business, you have to figure out how you can have a high enough profit margin so that you have enough money, not only to cover your expenses, pay your employees and all those different things, pay your taxes, critical, but you have enough money for marketing and there's a healthy amount of profit so you can propel yourself forward, right? High profit margins are critical. Most entrepreneurs, when they first start, they don't charge enough, right? Because I don't really know if they would pay that. So they undersell themselves, they devalue themselves, they don't charge enough. So profit margin is huge. I would say 4 would be rookie mistake is trying to pack everything that you do into one thing, right? It's better for you to break those down into smaller services or smaller products so you have multiple revenue streams. And that also helps you to weather the storm, right? If you have multiple revenue streams, if there's some disruption in your industry, if there's a change in regulation, the government decides that, you can only do this, or you have to pay this tax or whatever, you have another place that money's coming from. So your business doesn't ultimately shut down simply because you're getting your money from one place. And then, so save the best for last. Number 5 is about investing in marketing and lead generation, right? I can't tell you how many meetings I've gone into with, solopreneurs and even companies that are making, 15 million a month that have not set aside a marketing budget. They haven't really sat down, looked at what they're trying to make in a month or a quarter or a year and said, hey, I'm trying to make $100 million. Well, I need to put $5 million aside for marketing. And most of that marketing budget needs to go towards lead generation. You need to establish a lead source, and you need to figure out, if I put in $1, it's going to generate this many leads, and those many leads are going to turn into this many sales and this much revenue. So if I want to make more revenue, well, I need to put in more dollars on the front end and then rinse and repeat, and that's going to give me, more revenue.
Yeah, Arias, I love the conversation. I love what you share with us in the 5 step, and I'm going to ask you more about the step number 5, because I'm glad that you call it investment. Yes, and this is what happened, especially in COVID. Yeah, in COVID, why do you think when everything goes wrong, all the companies, what they do? Oh, you know what? Let me reduce the budget in marketing. That's that's the first cut that everybody do. Okay, let's cut the marketing. Too much expensive marketing.
Opposite of what you need to do.
Yeah, because they seen as a cost, and it's not a cost; it's an investment. So it's in place in the wrong space in the balance sheet of the company, because it shouldn't be as a cost. It's like you call it an investment, and as investment, it's just a number. Why? If you're spending, I don't know, X amount of money to acquire clients, and then you sell your product and you make X amount of profit, yeah, that will give you that profit, the money back again to put into generate that lead. Why are you gonna cut the source of customers, and then after they find out that they are even worse and nobody understands what happens? Yeah. And
it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle, and I
it
think
doesn't
that
make sense.
happens.
So why do you think that companies do, why do you think that companies do that? What is something is a very simple logic that you don't need to go to university to understand, that if you have a marketing, if you're spending $1 in marketing, to make the number simple, you're spending $1 in marketing, and this generating you 10 leads, and out of these 10 leads, you convert these 2 leads. You convert 2 leads, and then you're selling your product for $20, and after you sell your product $20, you pay your cost of marketing, which is 1. You pay your sales team, which is 3. You pay your cost of sales, how to generate the product, and you have an extra money there, 5, 6, whatever is the profit, 3, 2, doesn't matter. 3, let's say you have $3 profit after all this operation. Out of the $3, you don't take that dollar first to generate that marketing that will give you the 10 leads again.
Next,
you're gonna how the whole thing
it
is
doesn't make
gonna
any
work.
sense.
But then when it's a problem area, when it's COVID, when it's a plane crash, when it's an earthquake, when the company is not doing good, when the numbers are, everybody said, okay, let's cut the marketing. So what message do you have for those companies, for those entrepreneurs?
I honestly think they do it. I hand to God, yesterday I met with a company. They're a home builder, and I sat with their director of marketing. I sat with their director of sales and their entire marketing team. And I had this idea of what I was going to pitch, and I realized I got to throw that pitch out, because they told me that they have one system where all their sales are, and then they've got their CRM where all of their marketing is happening, where their leads are. And those two systems don't talk. Wow. So they're generating leads and they're spending money over here, but they can't prove that that's generating money, right? And I honestly believe that that's the issue in most of these companies. The CEO or the CFO or the accountant, they're looking at money going out, but they can't prove that the money's that's going out is pulling money in. They know they're making money, but the attribution is not there, that they can't prove the ROI. So I think that's the critical component. Now, any logical person, if you walk up to me on the street and I said, hey man, give me $10 and I'll give you 100 back, you'd say,
absolutely.
Sure? Absolutely. Right. And then if you give me $10 and I give you 100, you're like, can I give you 100 and you'll give me 1,000? Well, can I give you 1,000 and you'll give me 100,000?
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you? Right. So it's I can't prove that if I spend $1, I'm going to make 10. So why spend the dollar? Right. And that's the issue. And that comes down to systems, that comes to scalability, right? What we talked about earlier. And that comes to using systems to be able to keep track of these things and paying
measure
attention
everything.
to those.
Because now that maybe they don't know, but in online, yeah. I mean, in advertising all today, everything can be measured now. Most of the things can be measured. You can measure everything. You try, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And maybe areas, maybe comes the first part, the point number one, when you enhance, hire people that they know what they're doing. Yeah. Because they can have a bad experience that maybe they hire another marketing agency, and maybe they went there and they say, okay, give me 10K, 100K, and we're going to do a TV advertising that is going to make you a million. Then the other one doesn't know, give the 10K, and then it happens that the target audience of this company don't even watch TV. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
because a lot of marketers are liars.
Then we back. Then this stereotype there. Well, marketing doesn't work. This is a very empiric. I don't know how to measure if this is the last thing. And I think that if they start to see, as you call it, I'm glad you call it this. You call it investment in your step number 5. You didn't call it the cost. You call it an investment. Yeah. So, if in your company you should have some, what is an investment in your company? Your people, the people that, I don't know, the people that you paying them $10 and they give you 100 worth in value for what they're doing. These are an investment. Yeah. So that, I don't know, you have few things in the company that 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 they are in investment. You are getting a lot of return out of, could be an employee, could be a marketing strategy, could be this, could be that, right? So, but then there is a lot of negative connotation to marketing. And I think I agree with you. It's lack of knowledge, of lack of measurements. Yeah, I think companies out there, maybe they need a consultant like you, Arias, that sit with them and put all those systems in place so they can measure everything, so they start to understand. Okay, this is how much money you put in here. This is the marketing strategy we're doing. This is how much it's costing you. It brings you all these clients that pay you so much money. Yeah. So, because the other thing, Arias, is when it comes to marketing, I'm a big fan, what I call it 12 marketing strategies. Yeah, I think so marketing is the capacity that your company have to attract clients, to attract those leads. Yeah, but I always like to have minimum, or when we talk with entrepreneurs in my conference, we always share with them that they should have 12 minimum. 12 marketing, because that's the other thing. You go to this company sometimes and they only have one marketing strategy. Sometimes it's referral. So they have zero. It's the client who brings in the client. And these people are leaving a lot of money in the table, especially law firms. Law firms, they have, you speak with this owner of law firm, they say, well, we've been here for 20, 30 years. So how you find the clients? No, they all came for referral. And I like, man, you leave in a fortune on the table. You are so good. You are so good that you managed to survive by referral. You have an amazing product, man. You should be a multi-millionaire now. What happened to you 20, 30 years and you're still doing okay with the law firm? That's ridiculous.
Doing the same thing. Yeah. It's, like I said, a lot of marketers are liars, right? And for anybody listening, how do you know if you've got a decent marketer on the line, right? Someone's pitching you SEO or advertising or social media or whatever, right? And they're telling you that it's going to be amazing, you're going to make $1 million. If the conversation is not centered around ROI and how they're going to prove it and how they're going to report that, if that's not a central part of the conversation, or they kind of tap dance around, or they kind of like, oh, well, we can't really blah, 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 then you're talking to somebody who has not figured out attribution, and they're not really focused on your bottom line, which means that you're probably going to waste your money, right? You come to us, one of the first things we want to know is how much money are you making a month? What are your goals that you're trying to make a month? Have you done advertising or marketing in the past? What have your results been? And I don't want you to say, oh, we did pretty good. I want you to pull out the spreadsheets. I want to see the back end. I want to see the numbers. What are your conversions? All those different things, so we can get a true understanding of where you are in this process. Let's set some goals. Let's set some targets, and let's figure out how much you need to spend to get you where you want to be. A lot of times with companies, like I said, that one company, they're trying to make, $15 million a month. That's their goal. When I asked him how much they were spending on advertising, he said, oh, well, I think we're spending like 3,000 on Facebook and we're spending like 2,000 on Google. And I was like, so you're spending $5,000, but you're trying to make 15 million. I said, are you guys hitting your goal? He said, well, no, close. It doesn't make any sense. If you could spend $5,000 and spit out 15 million, you would be the hottest company on the freaking planet, and every investor under the sun would be rushing to give you $5,000, right? Like,
it doesn't exist. There is no company on earth with that ROI anyway. But I think, Arias, I think that, when it comes to marketing, it's not that all marketers have liars. It's like, the thing is like, for example, the entrepreneurs, they don't have enough experience. Being an entrepreneur, the more you practice, the better you become. Yeah. Now, if if the entrepreneur doesn't have the skill set yet, and someone with the marketing can make an easy money, because let's face it, it's less work to come tell you, oh, pay me 10K, pay me whatever, and I'm gonna do this for that. Yeah. Probably this marketer is starting his own company and doesn't have enough experience.
Right.
Maybe delivered something because he doesn't know. Yeah. But also, I get your point as well, that all marketers, because it's very easy money to find an entrepreneur that is looking for lead, that is desperate, that doesn't have the client. Then you can say something very simple, and then you get easy money and you don't work. Yeah. And who cares about it? It's responsibility of the entrepreneurs, or the marketer, the entrepreneur, to do the due diligence and to learn how to hire the right marketing company, how to hire the people that know what they're talking about, how to hire the people that have experience, that they have proven track record, and actually give them something that makes sense. Because, like, for example, like you sharing with me, okay, Harry, we see the companies, we want to know how much money they're making, how much money they are investing, acquiring the clients. We need to know what is the cost of acquisition. We want to know what is that number, and we want to calculate everything before we design a strategy for this person to amplify the business. Do you understand? This is something that is a lot of work. Nobody wants to work. Everybody wants the money. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hand-to-hand with the client. It's a lot to bring the client on board. Yeah. And make them to understand this process. Yeah. And then the entrepreneurs, no, I don't have time, Arias. I'm busy doing this. I'm busy doing that. Blah blah. Where the other market, they come, look, this is easy. You give me 10K and I solve your problem. Then the entrepreneur says, I don't have to do anything. Let me give 10K. That's it. And after they give 10K, they go zero. Because they need to, they have to work with money you. And run. They have to work with you. You there to, the more they are in your side, the more they talk to you, the better for them.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, it's gonna be like a cash machine. So what message do you have for those entrepreneurs that is still they understand this process? I think, if I bring Ari and I pay him 10,000, 20,000, no, I don't need to talk to him. He had to figure it out. I don't, you know what I mean? Because we have people with this behavior also.
Tons. Again, my mentor told me, don't ever expect what you won't inspect, right? So if you're not willing to, set up a recurring meeting to go over the details, if you're not willing to set aside some time or dedicate a person who's going to be responsible for the outcome on your side, because, I have my business, right? And once you send me the money, right, or if you send a marketer money, that money's gone. It's done, right? It's incumbent upon you to hold that person accountable. And when you're in that process of negotiating and setting up the deal, you need to talk about these things, right? So it's not enough for you to say, I'm just going to give you some money and you go do what you do. And I don't really want to talk and I don't want to blah, blah, blah. Right. This is your money. This is your business. This is your baby. You need to get in and get your hands a little dirty so that you make sure you hold those people accountable. Right. You want to make sure that
with you.
Yeah. Like you have to be
you can come and say, look, man,
engaged.
I have this idea. I think this is going to work. What do you think? And maybe they can do, okay, yes, these 3 ideas, they're cool, but, I prefer this one and this one. I've been doing this for so many years. This one, I don't know. The more they can, if they work with you, the faster you arrive to these 12 marketing strategies, minimum.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I tell a lot of entrepreneurs or prospective entrepreneurs, you probably don't want to be an entrepreneur. If you think that you're going to get in this thing and, you're going to work 5 hours a week and, you're going to be able to get your laptop and hang out at the beach and, blah, blah, blah. That's not it, right? And marketing is probably the most important and consequential portion of your business. Second only to maybe how good your product or service is, right? If you haven't figured out how to market your product and get people interested in it and pull in leads, you're not really in business, right? You have a hobby.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these areas. Let's talk a little bit about this because especially in the tech space, but we see this, in all the entrepreneurs, right? They develop the product, they remortgage the house, they take all the money and energy and time developing the product, and after all this is done and they say, no, the product is so good that people will come and buy it, because my product is amazing. And after they finish the product, and nobody comes and buy. Let me tell you a story, true story. I have this brilliant idea once that I want to open a restaurant, and I opened a restaurant. I was very young back then, and I thought I was a king of the world, My first business was in property. We managed to save 5 million. I'm the king of the world, I know everything, and I have an ego this 100 times taller than me, And I'm there, and I put this Spanish name, this restaurant, my ego was so big that I call it Harry Spanish Tapas, It's an Spanish tapas, you're a marketing guy. You should call it Lola or Pepe,
Right.
I don't name to a Spanish restaurant. I always say, if you confuse them, you lose them. So I'm confusing the people even with their own name. And then I have a second brilliant idea. I said, no, I want a guitar. My Polish business were looking at me. Those guys that will do for me anything I want. They were my bidding team from the property. And they will do anything that I ask them to do. This is how we operate day by day. So I then go one day, I said, listen, guys, I took a restaurant and I want you guys a Spanish guitar on the roof. And they're telling me, Harry, why do you want to do a guitar in this roof? It's going to take us 2 months. If you want it, we can do it. We do it. But do sure? Yeah. My restaurant is need to have a Spanish guitar in the roof because
on the roof.
It's gonna be like a most amazing decoration and blah. And then I took 2 months to 2 months and a half to do the guitar. Finally, they find the guitar and everything. And then this product is gonna be amazing. I hired the chef from the Hilton to come and very expensive to train my team and everything. And then after 3 months, finally I opened the restaurant. Woo! Nobody came out. No one.
Man.
And then I realized that my money in the guitar I need for marketing. We go not run out of money. You can see
that.
It was, long story short, I lost 200,000 pounds, 2 years of my life, my girlfriend. Back then it was a total disaster. So the point of the story is that so I learned this lesson that I'm telling you the hard way. I didn't learn it from a book. Cost me a lot of money. Usually when I when I lost money is when I learn the lesson forever. If I don't lose money, but when I lose money, then I learn very quickly. So I tend to understand that, when you go into business, if you're going to have a new business, you have a startup, yeah. In my opinion, yeah, you need to have all 80% of the money, resources, time, energy, whatever, to put on that. How you going to bring this product to market? How you gonna generate this lead? How you gonna sell this product? Once you have that, after you can create the product, no problem. You already know who wanted, how they wanted, how much they want to pay for it. Yeah. But everybody doing the other way. And then now, like my restaurant, everybody is mortgaging the houses, is finding venture capital, is finding angel investor to give them money to develop a product. Now the angel investor, they get, this is AI, whatever. They're gonna make a billion, and then the angel give them money, and then the people develop something, and nobody have any clue how to bring this to market, how to generate, how to sell it. So, in your opinion, if you are a founder today and you have $100, and out of these $100, you have to develop your product, and you need to invest in marketing and sales. Yeah. How much money you will take for product development, and how much money you will take for marketing and sales? I already told you, if it's me, out of the $100, I take $20 to develop the product, and I will take the other 80 to marketing and sales. So like this, I have all the energy where I need to be. And then, what's your equation?
I would say the same. I might even go 90 for marketing. Like there's this, I'm not into gaming by any means, but the last month or so I've got into this one game, and the owners spent their entire budget, their entire investment on creating a commercial. And this commercial was a mock-up of their game showing what it would be like, right? And then they spent the majority of their budget on ads to push that ad out. And when you click the link, it took you to a page in order to sign up for the game, even though the game didn't exist, right? And what they did is, once they've got you your contact information, well, they started sending out questionnaires about all the different things that you would like to be in the game. What are some creative ideas? What They started asking people to submit drawings of the characters and all these different things, right? But they built a community of people that were interested in the game before they even had a product, right? So
then Harry said that they are brilliant. Then Harry said that you're brilliant.
Yeah. Well, thank you. But that's the key, man. It's like you have to make sure that the market actually wants what you have, right? That's kind of the idea behind Kickstarter, right? Kickstarter, hey, I've got this amazing idea, or maybe we've done a little bit of something, but we really want to take this to the next level, or I've got this amazing idea that I've been working through in my head for 5 years. Here's my idea. Would you give me some money to actually do the thing, right? You have to make sure that you're not building something that nobody wants, right? They say if you ask customers what they wanted back in the 1900s, they would ask for faster horses, right? Not cars. You don't want to make sure, you want to be the guy who's building a faster, or trying to breed faster horses and build a faster buggy when, Tom Ford, when Ford is making the Model T, right? You need to make sure that the market is actually interested in the thing that you're trying to build well before you decide to mortgage your house and take that all into putting into the development. Because little do you know, across the street, somebody might be building something that's 10, 20 times better, and you just lost your house because you didn't take the time to figure out if people in the market actually wanted that thing.
It's sad, but it's reality, and it's the truth. And I think that it's just lack of experience. I think that I don't know how in the surface, right? People, entrepreneurs, or people that want to start the business, right? Everybody, is in love with the product. They create the product, and they get in love with this product that they create, that they think that people are gonna buy. But let me tell you something. I have interviewed already 500 multimillionaires in this podcast. Yeah, I haven't found anyone yet that told me, Harry, the initial product, how I designed it, it was actually the actual product the client bought. Yeah, even in my own property business, when I started, I opened the room the first time. Yeah, it was a guy. I said to a guy, look, you want to rent this room? The guy looked at the room. I said, man, this room need a little bit of painting. It's a little bit, the paint is old. No, man, I'm not gonna rent it. So I go there and say, wow. I bought a paint. I don't know how to paint. I paint the room. I paint myself, my face. I had to clean the floor because I make a big mess. And then I painted the room. So then I opened the door again. The second viewing coming a girl. I said, look, this is a room that I'm renting. What do you think? And the girl is looking. Said, look, the room looks clean, but it's a little bit cold, It's cold, this room. I'm like, what do you mean by cold? Cold what? The room, look how nice it is. It's clean. I painted. She said, no, it's, it doesn't have any painting, it's so cold. No, I'm not taking it. Man, then I go to IKEA. I say, okay. So I went to IKEA and I bought a bed sheet, which is pink, orange, and red. So you can get anything more warm than this, yeah? And then I put the duvet like this, orange and red. And then I bought a painting, from IKEA, put in the room. And in the way back, I think that those Chinese stores that we have in London for £1, I bought a basil with a flower, put it there. And then, guess what happened? The third girl come, I opened the room. I said, would you like to take the room? And the girl said, yes, here's the money. And the rest is story, So it was not the room that how I wanted, like what I thought that they want. They were telling me what they want to buy. They were telling me, if you do this, I'll buy it. As a current format, as it is, I'm not renting your room, my friend. I'm like, I need to rent the room. I need the money. So I had to, as soon as they tell me the room is painting, the guy leaving, I'm buying the paint and I'm painting the thing. I don't know anything about business, so I don't have any clue about anything. But I need to rent the room because I got my money there. So I did exactly what they told me, and the rest is story. We managed to save 5 million exactly. Listen to them what they want.
Yeah, but I mean that's also part of marketing, right? It's not just you yelling out into the void, screaming at people, right? It's also listening, right? Put stuff out, get the information back, and then adjust, right? You have to adapt. Another thing that I always talked about is adapt or die, right? If you decided no, the room's color is perfect, you just have bad taste. Okay, I'll keep my money and I'll go down the street, right? Or if they say, hey, it's cold, I need some stuff on the walls, or just something, and you said, no, it's perfect temperature. Okay, I'm going to go down the street, right? If you're not listening to your customers, if you're not listening to the market tell you, hey, I don't want this, then you're losing. A great example from that everyone knows is BlackBerry, right? BlackBerry was like the first smartphone on the market, and now they're out of business. And the reason they're out of business is because the founders wouldn't make any changes when the iPhone came out. The iPhone came out and it completely killed the BlackBerry because it was a full screen. Everything was touchscreen. And they refused to think that consumers wanted to get rid of that little keyboard and that little roller thing, right? They felt that was revolutionary and people are going to always want it, even though the market was clearly telling them that wasn't the case. iPhone went crazy. So millions and millions of units, in a couple months, right? But they refused to change. And because of it, they died. They wouldn't adapt. So that company died. And as an entrepreneur, if you're not keeping your ear to the ground, if you're not listening to your customers, if you're not paying attention to what your competitors are doing and how the market is shifting, it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to be out of business soon.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Arias, I agree 100% that you always have to be, listening to a consumer, and also, those companies, they need to have, someone like you on board on the team, as a resource or constantly, looking at the market, constantly looking, what are the change, and someone is always listening. Yeah. listening what the customers really want, listening what the market is changing. Exactly what you said. This is part of marketing. So you need a company or an expert in marketing that understands that you have to be the ears for that company, because the faster the ability that you have to understand the change in the market and to adapt quickly is your survival. Is the only way that you can survive. How fast can you respond to change? Yeah. And the organization, that's the other thing as well, as in terms of structure of the organization. Yeah. They're gonna bring you in a company, and then when you say, "Hi guys, I think that the market is going this direction. We need to do this, and this," and then the structure of the company. Okay, then let me speak with the supervisor. Then let me speak with the manager. Then let me speak with the director. Then let me speak this. Then let me speak. And then you need to the CEO, because the CEO have to micromanage everything, and not to come back. Okay, yes, no, like that. The ability to respond to change is so slow that you also die. It's two things, you have to have a structure in your company, like that, to mind that they're like little boats, like 200, 300 little boats, that if you say turn right, all the little boats will turn right. But what you find out there is companies that they are like a Titanic. They don't have 300 little boats that you said turn right, they will turn right. They have like the Titanic, that if you had to move the whole structure of that to turn right, it takes time, and it's slow. By the time that you turn right, already the iceberg is on top of you. You know what I mean? So, what is your view in this on these companies that have a very slow response to change?
I believe that if you haven't figured out a process that allows you to be nimble, to react faster, if you haven't figured, especially for large companies, one of their strengths is the fact that they're big, right? They've got deep pockets, got an army of employees, but with that, there's a massive separation between the guy at the top, CEO, has the ability to say, yeah, we're going this direction, and the guy on the ground that sees the iceberg coming, right? You need a process that allows that guy that's at the front line talking to customers, having the interactions, that's seeing the problem firsthand, to be able to get that up the food chain as soon as possible. And if you don't put those things in place, you're going to be the BlackBerry, right? You're going to be Polaroid, right? Which no longer exists. You're going to be Blockbuster, that no longer exists, because there was impending doom coming, but you didn't listen to anybody who could actually see the change coming, because you're the CEO and you're worth millions of dollars, and you're on CNN and MSNBC. Why would I listen to somebody who makes $20 an hour, right? I'm me. Then you're not going to be around long, especially in the age of AI, when any guy with an internet connection, a computer, and access to ChatGPT can build something that can completely revolutionize your industry and tank your $50 million business. You'd be a fool not to figure out how to be more nimble, how to give your people latitude to make changes, small changes, but change, right? And if there's a big change that needs to be made, there needs to be a process. There needs to be a quarterly meeting or a monthly meeting where these ideas and these issues come to light, and someone says, okay, let's put together a task force to tackle it. This isn't the 60s and 70s where innovation took a decade. ChatGPT came out and had 100 million users in a month. Never happened ever in the history of the world that 100 million people bought any one thing in a month. I think it took Facebook or Instagram like 2 years to get there, right? I think Facebook 2 years. I think it took Instagram like 8 or 10 months to get to 100 million, right? ChatGPT got their first 100 million in 30 days from the time they launched to the end of the month. It's crazy, right? So we're in a business climate where things move at lightning pace. People are breaking molds. They're completely rewriting how we do business. And if you don't keep your ear to the street, you're screwed, right? That big house that you bought, that yacht, the girlfriend's condo
Absolutely.
that you're paying for, and your country club membership, all that's going to evaporate into thin air. You're not paying attention to what's going on in your industry, and you're not listening to the little guy who's screaming that we need to turn this ship, or we're all going to end up sunk in the water.
Arias, I think, man, you make my day. I think you're brilliant. You are, you really know what you're talking about. I'm so glad, that you share this valuable information with our audience. Yeah, and you're very humble, but you do know your stuff a lot. Yeah, I'm actually impressed. And at my age, I get impressed very little. This I can tell you, At my age, I get impressed very little. You're really, really good, yeah. And I'm glad that you helping entrepreneurs out there for real. You put in the work that is required, and you make them understand that this is an investment, but this is key. Is one of the areas of business that without that you don't have anything. You don't have sales, because if you don't have clients, what you have exactly is a hobby, and that process start to finding those leads, to generating those leads. So Arias, if people are in love with our conversation and they want to work more with you, how can they find you? How this process work?
Yeah, my mission for all of my companies right now is to help 1,000 entrepreneurs generate 100 grand in 1 year.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah, and of those, I want to help 100 make $1 million in 1 year by the
end
of 2026.
I love it even more.
Yeah, right.
Very good bracket. Very good. I love it.
Yeah. So launchignition.ai. So www.launchignition.ai is the system that we are using, the program, the business accelerator that we're putting entrepreneurs through, we're putting companies through to make sure that they're built for scale, that they are set up to service their customers faster. And we're using AI in order to propel them forward. So yeah, www.launchignition.ai. And for companies that are already established and just really need some more leads, they need some more customers, they're trying to generate more revenue, we can go to WebsterBerry.com. That's our agency, just like my last name. And we do everything from lead generation and social media advertising to building websites and sales funnels and installing CRM and automation systems, right? So yeah, WebsterBerryMarketing.com or launchignition.ai. We're happy to see if we can help.
Thank you so much, Arias. Thank you so much for this amazing content that you share with our audience, and for all of you following this broadcast of Unstoppable. See you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Arias break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.